Good evening, one and all, and welcome back to another episode of the House of Horrors podcast. What happened there? House of Horrors podcast. Facebook has been wonderful as usual, causing us slight delays there at the beginning, but we are here, and hopefully you guys will start to see that we're live. Go on.
It was our own spooky ghoulish thing, right? I was so organised tonight. Look, I've even got my lights ready. I'm actually that organised. I got Ash to send me the picture for the screen grab that we have, like the little thumbnail. And for some reason, that deleted the link out of our chat. And I couldn't get into the chat. I was like, Ash was like, right, we're ready to go live now. Like, dude, the link!
Oh, dear. Andy H is with us in the chat so far, and he says, shoot, when did it become Wednesday? I know, this week's flying by. But we do have four viewers. We do have 4 viewers with us already. We do have Joey be one with us. Hey, Joey, how you doing, buddy? I know the others will drop in slowly but surely as we get going, like Shelley and the usual bunch. Hopefully we'll all join us this evening. But we are going to be joined. There she is. I say her name and she appears. It's like Beetlejuice. Good evening, Shelley. Yes, we will be joined in a little bit by the guys from For the Love of Horror, the horror convention here in the UK, one of the biggest ones held by Monopoly Events. They'll be with us about 9 o'clock-ish. So we've got about half an hour to catch up with the news and talk to Ryan about all things horror. And then we'll have a chat with them about the Manchester event. It'll be good. They're currently live right now, by the way. So that's probably why a lot of our viewers aren't with us. That's where all the people are. Because Kiefer Sutherland, I believe, is over there, I believe.
Well, we've also got a very special guest. It's the... I'm joking, we don't. Not yet. Not until the guys from the horror. Sorry.
Say my name 3 times, see what happens. Yeah. But however, Shelley, Andy says you're more like Candyman. Oh dear. But yes, it's been another crazy week. How you been?
Exhausted. I have not stopped. Technically, this is my rest evening. Is doing this. Obviously, as you know, I'm off to New York next week. Yeah. So trying to run it in while doing a full-time job in London, and then also doing all the stuff in between. Your normal life is, and typically I've had a bunch of stuff to sort out at the same time. So, however, I have had some deliveries of horror-y nature. So as you saw, I do have a screen mask now.
Yeah.
I ordered a Jason mask. However, I accidentally did not read what the size was and got this.
Baby Jason!
Baby Jason, baby Jason, feeling all the teens, baby Jason. What else is wrong from these boxes of menagerie?
We have to remix the song now. We have to remix it to Jason's mom has got it going on.
She's killed those kids and she's waited so long. Sorry.
Counselor, can't you see? You're just not the one for me.
What's that? You might recognize this jumper.
Oh, Doctor Who?
No.
I can't see what that is.
Podcast.
Oh, it's Freddy. Oh, okie dokie.
Yeah. And then finally, my little favourite one, if I may demonstrate. This has been my little bit of joy, because this has been a good one for my wife.
Sorry, you've taken your glasses off. You can't send this comment, and it's amazing. But yeah, oh, that's cool. Jigsaw. I do like the jigsaw.
I want to play a game.
Yeah, I want to play a game.
I did also get myself the Hellraiser cube because I saw it online quite a lot. The one that supposedly transforms. And I thought I would just give a go at the sort of the cheaper ones, and don't, because it sucks. It does not transform, and it came through slightly broken. But I mean, it's still pretty weighty, and it still looks kind of cool.
Do you know what I've seen? I've seen people get the Jedi holocron and just spray paint it gold.
Ooh,
same sort of thing.
That's not a bad idea. I like that thinking. Plus, it combines 2 of my loves, Star Wars and horror. Oh, what if, right, hear me out, Sith Holocron is actually just...
Yeah, that would be cool.
We had such Siths to show you. So as you can see, I've had quite a few little bit of deliveries this week because obviously I do. Ironically, as much as I plan to do more horror content on my channel, it's probably going to be after Halloween by the time I get back from New York and stuff. So you know me and timing. I like to do like that.
Well, we keep Halloween alive through 365 around here, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, we do. Oh, and I also got this is Eric Bone Idol.
Ooh.
My skeleton.
Eric Bone Idol.
Uh,
I like the name, Eric Bone Idol.
Yeah, I wanted to have like a skeleton themed name, but then I couldn't. And then I happened to be listening to That's Death from Discworld at the time, which is a great track, very fun. And I was like, oh, convenient. So he's my co-host on my square.
Now, I know this first bit of news that we're going to share, right, isn't overly horror themed, but it's villains. And it's something that I know me and you are going to proper geek out over, so I have to share it. Look what is coming out. Merry Little Batman.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, exactly. This just looks so funny. So they're making a new little Batman cartoon just in time for Christmas. The Joker is like all dressed as Santa, and there's like a miniature little Batman kid. This holiday season, join Batman, Alfred Pennyworth, and young Damian Wayne in an adventure to save Christmas in Gotham City. Merry Little Batman will premiere on Prime Video December 8th.
This Christmas will be a blast. It is.
That's what I've always. I know we've talked about it before. I've always loved the Christmas with the Joker. I kind of watch that every holiday season. I love that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this one now.
Annoyingly, that's one of the only Batman animated figures I could never get. Was the Christmas one. I even have like the Batman Beyond set, which is worth stupid amounts of money, which I'll probably be selling something. But I still want that Christmas one for my Christmas decorations because it's the Joker, and like you said, it's like Halloween-y Christmas. Because I always think of the Joker with Halloween, even though there's like Scarecrow and like the Long Halloween and all that. But when I think of Halloween, I always like to have like Joker stuff out as well. Because I think it's that kind of sadistic clown thing going on. But I'm just gonna turn this one down a little bit because it looked like I was on fire. Come join us in hell. But yeah, so that's really cool. I am all up for anything new Batman, especially when it's animated. I don't know why animated Batman stuff is always just like really on point.
Wow, that's cool. Do you want to know something a bit really like? It's good for me, but I know you're not a massive fan of Bette Midler, so it's going to wind you up. But Hocus Pocus just made nearly $2 million in its theatrical re-release on its 30th anniversary.
Well, do you know what? I am. God, what's the nicest way I can put this? I am glad for the people involved in making that motion picture.
But yeah, I just think it's funny that it's 30 years on. That film is still raking in more than some movies, and it's like 30 years old. Every holiday season it comes out.
I will watch it. And the thing is, I don't actually hate the film. I don't like Bette Midler. Granted, I just find her irritating. However, I did like Hocus Pocus. I know I joke about it a lot, but I actually thought it was a good film. I just don't have that nostalgic link to it that everyone else does because I never watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
I have, apparently my parents, it was a better idea that I watched Dark Crystal and The Witches quite a lot as a kid. So, they're really nice, family-friendly good films that aren't terrifying or traumatizing in the slightest. We didn't get shown Hocus Pocus. If I had, who knows? Maybe I would be like, maybe my whole outlook on Bette Midler would have been different.
Well, this week as well, we're going to see the release of The Fall of the House of Usher. Are you going to be watching that tomorrow?
Could try.
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. The Fall of the House of Usher. It does look pretty cool. Looking forward to that one.
It does. It does look really cool. It's just, again, it's timing. But yeah, the thing is, we are really lucky. Like, considering how I think there's going to be quite little next year, this year there is so much being dropped on the doorstep constantly. It's kind of crazy.
And just so much is going on. And I know you're a physical media guy, so we need to talk about this because this is amazing. Amazon have got its yearly deals on right now. Have you seen what they've got going on?
I haven't actually.
So the collections that they've got like massive deals on right now where you can get like the 4K, like all the classic monsters for like 30 quid. The Last of Us for $27.99. There's so many like $9.99 and like $12.99 deals right now on so many movies and Blu-rays. The Chucky 7 film collection is marked down right now to $24.99.
I actually got that last Prime Day. They did that. That's when I got my box set, and it's a good box set as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick mine up. I've already got Bride of Chucky on Blu-ray, but all the rest of my Chucky films are on DVD. So I'm gonna
say VHS for a second, and you almost did, didn't you?
I almost did. Yeah. I almost did. It's because I remember having Child's Play 1 and 2 on VHS as a kid. I can still see the artwork to this day on them.
Oh, that's good though. I mean, it's a good sign to horror fans then. So horror and Amazon going hand in hand. That's nice to know.
And as well, we were talking about Batman, but they've got it here. Batman, the complete animated series, $24.99 on Blu-ray.
Wow, that is a really good price because I mean that was like 50 quid for a long time.
But there's some great movie here as well, just in time for holiday season, like the original Exorcist, $6.99, Trick or Treat, $7.99. Some amazing deals.
So at one point, Trick or Treat was actually quite hard to get hold of on DVD.
It was.
It was really annoying because I remember like my friend had it and I used to borrow the time, and in the end he just basically stopped lending it to me. And so I was like, I gotta get my own copy, and I was like, I could see now. Then I understood why he was so protective over his copy, because it was so difficult to get anywhere at one point. Like, I don't know, just no one seemed to have it. I don't know if it's because it wasn't that popular when it came out, and therefore they didn't do a big release. But obviously now, now it's huge. Oh, just see. I mean, one, we got to talk about Andy's comment. This just occurred to me. Sorrell's new setup, light makes him look like he's in heaven, and Ryan's lighting makes him look like he's in the third level of hell.
Like it was the third level of hell. That's very specific.
Like I'm not good enough for the other levels. Or I'm too bad for like the first level. I just got to go straight down to like, the third level.
I'm going to look up which is the third level of hell because they all have names. Apparently, on Gluttony, my friend.
Oh, that's just mean.
In Dante's Inferno, Gluttony is the third circle of hell.
Isn't there a nicer circle, Andy? Why gluttony, man?
I mean, there's pride, greed, lust, envy, wrath, and sloth.
I'll take pride because of my hair. Let's do that.
I'll just be sloth.
Yes, welcome to Sloth, Circle of Hell. And then I've got a good question from LN Studio Clips here. Question: what would your least favorite iconic horror character be? Ooh, least favorite.
Mine. Okay, I've got mine, but it's very controversial.
Go on then.
Pinhead. He's my least favorite. I'm not a massive fan of Hellraiser. It's all right. I'm not a big fan of Hellraiser.
Well, that's all we got time for tonight, guys. Thank you for watching. No, I do get that. I do completely get that. Too late, Andy. Too late. You can come and join me in hell. Yeah, Hellraiser. I do get it's a really sort of mixed bag franchise. Film quality wise, there's a big chunk in the middle which are a bit lacking, and it's not for everyone. It was one I didn't get into until I was like an adult. I never really liked it when I was younger. It was a bit too much for me, and then when I got older, it's like, especially I think when I started looking at special effects more, that's when I sort of liked it. Least favorite, do you know one that I'm probably the least bothered by, but everyone really likes is the girl from The Ring.
Samara.
It just never really did anything, but everyone was like, oh, it's so iconic. And there's a cool cosplay where someone goes around on a TV on a stand and actually pulls out of it. Yeah, that's cool. But I kind of like, that's one that everyone always goes on about. And The Ring never really got me when I was younger. I don't know what it was. I think The Grudge freaked me out weirdly a little bit more, which comparatively is not as good a film. And even like the Japanese Ring, Ring O, or whatever it's called. I don't know, it just never did that much for me, and I just didn't think she was as scary as other ones, so I guess that would probably be my least favourite. Don't dislike the character. There aren't any horror icons I actually actively dislike, I don't think.
Well, the books, you've got, because the Ring is a book. Ring is actually a book first. It was a Japanese book Ringu. Then it became a movie. And you can go back and get the books. There's 3 books: Spiral, Ring, and I forgot what the third one's called. But there were 3 books. And I read them as a kid, and they were amazing.
Wow, I did not know that. And I do like reading horror. Okay.
Oh, Loop. Ring, Spiral, and Loop.
I just joked and said Loops.
Yeah, it is genuinely Loop. They're a good series of books.
Hell has its privileges. LNC. Honestly, I would agree. What about you guys in the comments? What's a horror icon that you don't either one get the hype with or dislike? You know, chuck it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. That's a good question. I've never actually had to think about it. Throw me off.
Yeah, because the one difference that they made in the Ring novel series that never got adapted was that at the end of the book, you find out that the Ring is actually a virus, not a supernatural force, but it was physically like affecting people. It was like a contagion.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it's very different to the films, but I really enjoyed them. The books were amazing.
That's good. I'll give them a watch. Has anyone seen Nick Cage?
Yes. Season of the Witch is an amazing movie.
I haven't seen it.
That's the one with Ron Perlman, if I'm thinking right. I think Ron Perlman's in that with him. I'm just double checking it is the movie. I think it is. Yes, it is. Ron Perlman and Claire Foy's in it as well. Good movie.
We've had spring. We've had summer. Now it's the season of the witch.
So basically, yeah, he's playing a Crusader knight who has to go across the country covered by the Black Death and basically recover a witch and bring her back in she's in a big cage thing.
Okay, now
they're dragging her back across the country and she keeps escaping and stuff. It's a cool little story. But yeah, Ron Perlman's in that with him. My
interest has been piqued.
So, you got Nicolas Cage doing an American accent in the 16th century, and then you got Ron Perlman who can barely move his lips. So it's an amazing movie that you just need subtitles for.
Can we just do a new version where you just dub over it?
We need to burn the witch. And somehow he's got a cigar as well the entire movie.
Bad for your health. It's dangerous and outlawed. Leatherface, never saw the attraction to the character. Interesting one. I know a few people who like the whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise they're not a fan of. Again, I can see why. Very hit and miss with the films, although it does have a stellar performance by Matthew McConaughey in one of them. All right. Remake or all right. I'm going to take my skin off now, and it's going to be uncomfortable right now.
But the Leatherface, that was one of the. As I was coming up in my teenage years, that was one of the movies that I watched over and over and over and over. So I've got an affinity for Leatherface. I do like that first film. I've never seen. I think it's Leatherface 3. Do you think I've ever seen the third movie? I think I've only seen the first 2. And then all the prequels and remakes.
Yeah, it's called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, and it's it's a really hard franchise title-wise to follow. Because there's 8, 7.
Let's have a look. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies in order. Here we go. Are you ready for this? This is it. So the movies in full chronological order are The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, followed by The Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 in 1986. Then it's Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 in 1990. Then it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation in 1995. Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning in 2006, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D in 2013, Leatherface in 2017, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
Good.
Follow that logical order. That has got less sense. I never thought Fast and Furious would sound so beautiful after listening to that one. I thought nobody could come up with worse titles, but apparently Texas Chainsaw Massacre can.
I don't know, because if the sequel to the 22 reboot isn't now called Two Leather, Two Face, I'm going to be really upset. It's about chainsaw families. It's just Vin Diesel sitting at that picnic table with Leatherface.
It technically is about a family.
It is. I sense another crossover coming on.
Oh dear, that's it. But yeah, no, they should just. There's nothing better than like when you're looking at movies like that and the stupid names they come up with. Couldn't they have just done what Friday the 13th did?
Yeah, part
Part
1,
one, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Just make it easy.
Jason takes the boat to Manhattan.
I love that one. That's one of my favorite ones. Jason Takes Manhattan.
It's a guilty pleasure because I don't objectively think it's that good a film, and I think it's a bit of a misnomer, but it is fun. So I agree, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me.
And then you've got Jason going.
The whole hype with the original one was just anticlimactic for me. All I remember was the annoying kid in the wheelchair and wanting Leatherface to take him out. It does eventually, spoiler alert. But Two Leather, Two Face leads on to Hobbs' Shaw spin-off Revenge of the Pleatherface. With the eyebrow.
The budget box was split. The original 74 is the same. That is cool.
It was banned for ages. That sort of thing at school when I was a kid. Like, it was like, oh, this movie was banned, and it was like, which just made you want to watch it more, even though you were told you should. And it's actually visually not that boring. Weirdly, it's a lot you don't see. There's a lot more in your imagination, and the sound design is truly unsettling in it. I have just had a thought though. Was there any more news? Because our guests are arriving in soon, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a little bit more news. We've got a few little bits. Nothing too crazy, but Fortnightmares is starting for the fans of Fortnite, where you can now get the Michael Myers costume. And then you got the A Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington, where he also transforms into Santa Jack, ready for Halloween. And then Alan Wake as well will be joining Fortnite.
I just look at this. I mean, you can have Darth Vader versus Michael Myers now.
You can. Fortnite is the only place in the world where you can have weird like crossovers, like Jack Skellington going on a mission with Jason Voorhees and Mike Myers. Anyway.
Wow.
My favorite bit of news this week, though, was Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein has just added Christopher Waltz to its cast.
This is my creature. Thank you, and that's a bingo.
I'm just looking forward to. I'm hoping that Christopher Waltz is going to be Dr. Frankenstein. I'm hoping because he will play that so damn well,
phenomenally. Like, he's the right kind of guy that can add sort of like the intensity to it. There's a weird, like, Christoph Waltz is a particularly interesting actor, I think, because I as much as people joke and do the impression of him, I actually do think he has a lot of range. I think sometimes because he has a very particular mannerism, people think he doesn't have the range. But I would disagree, because I've seen him do comedy, but I've also seen him do roles where it's been very emotional, and I kind of think he would do just amazing in it. And I think also it would So Will Brightmore just said Christoph Waltz is box office hands down is one of the greatest movie villains of the time. Yeah, exactly. And I think he would do an amazing job with himself. I also think he would make him relatable as well as sort of crazy. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I love Christopher Waltz. My mum watches the Inglourious movie quite regularly. She's one of her favorite films of all time, and that. We always do that. Every time you get like dessert, she does that same voice every time. Him going, wait for the creme. So yeah, he was so menacing in that movie. That whole beginning scene with the Jews under the floorboard and stuff, and he's saying, "I know they don't speak French, so I'm going to speak French to you, and I'm going to stand up now, and I'm going to shoot the floor, and you're not going to say a word." It's like, oh my god, that is evil, beyond evil. But then he plays the bounce. Sorry, go on.
And the pipe, we've got like the compensation.
Yeah, and then he goes from that to playing such a more comedic role, so to speak, in the Django movie. I love him in the Django movie as well. It's a completely opposite character, but he's great in that as well. The dentist bounty hunter. It's when he's doing the Pint Island with his little ruler.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good movie, and I think we're due another good sort of Frankenstein movie, because like Frankenstein's monster is such a fantastic thing. So you had that weird Aaron Eckhart one. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I Frankenstein, I think it was called.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with this series that he's making, he's not allowed to use the word Frankenstein because he doesn't own the rights. He's doing his interpretation of the Universal monsters, a bit like what he did with
Shape of Water.
Gilman, The Shape of Water, where it's basically Creature of the Black Lagoon. Everyone knows what it's meant to be, but you just can't say it. I think they're going down that route again with this movie. So hopefully this is going to be. He wants to create a dark universe similar to what Universal were trying. So he's clearly building it up, but in a more modernized setting. So
To be fair,
I'm all for it.
You trust more to do that than Del Toro, really.
Oh, he's got the dark fantasy imagination for it. That's what he does well. The dark fantasy stuff.
Such a beautiful visual standard as well. I mean, if anyone look at Pan's Labyrinth, and just you pick any random scene from Pan's Labyrinth, and you can just look at it as a screenshot and just go like, "Oh, I want to go there. I know I'd probably die in 10 minutes, but I want to go."
Why isn't Frankenstein the public domain if it was written in 1818? Things only fall into public domain after 100 years, when it's something to do with the copyright being renewed and things like that. So basically, like Universal can copyright their interpretation of Frankenstein and their version of Frankenstein. So like Universal Monsters are the original creators of it. So therefore, as long as they keep their copyright going and keep making movies within a certain time period, they keep the copyright. So they've just been creating, like Universal Monsters constantly renew their licensing, release merchandise, so they don't ever fall into public domain. That's my understanding of it. Anyway, it's like how Dracula hasn't as well. They're all still
Similar
under
to,
Universal.
Winnie the Pooh, isn't it? You know, how they could do Blood and Honey because the book rights had, but Disney's version with the voice of the "No, Father, I haven't done this voice for a very long time." That voice is like trademarked to being like the Disney character of Winnie the Pooh. However, Winnie the Pooh, the property, like the concept, the books, that is very much in the public domain now. So that, and it's similar to a lot of stories, like Peter Pan. Obviously, there's a horror film coming out of Peter Pan. Obviously, everyone associates Peter Pan with Disney, but it's not. So it won't be the Disney version of Peter Pan. It will be based on. I'm doing this like dramatic, like one face like that side, and then have a good side over bad side. It will be like that version of Peter Pan in the horror side, not in the Disney sense.
Frankenstein was supposed to also cross over into Underworld. Can you imagine that? Jesus. They could have done so much more with Underworld, to be fair, and they just didn't. They could have done so much with that. And
I think the boat's sailed now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which is a thing. I like the Underworld franchise. I love the whole history with the lichens and the...
The first movie I could watch over and over and over. I love that first movie.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. It's still the best one as well.
Yeah, that bit at the beginning where she's on top of the rooftop narrating, that is still one of my favorite little scenes of like that entire movie. Just her doing the narration is ace.
Vampire Batman, just the way to go.
Yeah, Vampire Batman. Public domain rules, basically the life of the author plus 70 years. Fair dues.
So we should write something now. Does that mean all our stuff's going to be public domain at some point? So when someone makes a terrible B movie about us, no one's going to make a B movie.
I hope so.
The Last Men, the true story of SuperSorrell and Ralphie.
I would prefer if they made mine, you know, SuperSorrell, some assembly required.
Oh, they could call it Hair in the Leg. That's what we should call this podcast, really. This week on Hair in the Leg.
Hair in the Leg and the Shit podcast.
Sounds like a Harry Potter spin-off now.
Which was the one that had King Arthur from BBC Merlin in it? No idea.
I never watched Merlin.
No, I watched like the first season of it, I think, and then just gave up. Anyway, that's not horror. Let's get back to horror.
Yeah, that's diving into like a deep dive. That is.
Did you see? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say I would be very excited to see like a Dracula take from Del Toro. Actually, now I've been thinking. I'm just going through all the different Universal monsters in my head. I'm just thinking what I would want it to look like in the Del Toro universe.
Well, I was very excited to read that even though it's been a bit of a bumpy start for the new Exorcist movie, they are still very much going ahead with the sequels to it, which I'm glad.
Good.
Because I don't think the movie was that bad. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't had a chance to. But things I know everything that happens in it because
All right,
naturally,
cool.
the minute you're a fan of something, your algorithm picks up on it, and then everything just gets spoiled for you for like the first 3 seconds out. That's why I get up early every time there's a TV series, like so I'll just watch it straight in the thing. But I've read it, and I don't think I don't even think it sounds as bad as everyone's making out like it is. I say
So,
everyone, some
so
people.
I saw it, and I do admit, I think everyone's moaning that the legacy characters weren't needed, which admittedly they weren't. But they're building something. They're building 3 movies here. He wants to make his version of Exorcist 3 movies like he did with Halloween. So it's the same director. So basically, he's making 3 movies. We know that from the get-go. So just because they've got Chris McNeil in this first film, it's because she's going to be in the later movies doing more. I'm guessing this is just a build-up. But the ending to the movie is amazing. Do you want me to talk about that, or do you want me to not? Do you want me to leave it alone?
I know what the ending of the movie is.
Because
That was
the actual, that was the bit that I wasn't expecting. Honestly, I won't say it out loud just in case people in this chat, because obviously it's not been out that long. But that twist at the end was what made it for me. Because normally you get the whole everyone's safe and dandy kind of ending. This was the demon kind of wins, and I like that
You need
concept.
that, especially if you're just doing like a trilogy. You need to sort of almost start off on the wrong foot, if that makes sense with a horror. I think if you're going to do a horror franchise, you need to make sure your villain is scary, and there's nothing more scary than the hero not winning.
And this is why I always love, because every film that has an exorcist in it, the exorcist always wins. This religion always comes out on top, kind of crap. Which is why I always loved. Is it called The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
Yeah.
Which is the court case one. Was that the one where they're on about it's in the courtroom? That one I love because she's dead. She dies in that. The whole court case is the priest defending himself and stuff, and that is such a cool movie.
Can someone just soundbite that bit of the video where it just says, "I like that one because she dies in it," and then just have that, and then let's just ruin Ash's life now with that. Evil YouTuber declares he likes things because people die.
Mate, all you have to do is do SuperSorrell.gif into Google and just see what people have clipped of me, and that's all you need to do. It'll entertain you for hours, I promise you. There's little gifs of me doing this, little gifs of me going.
I'm gonna need to start making my own SuperSorrell board.
All my own, like I could literally just clip them all now and take out the backgrounds and have my own GIF collection, because people have been going to town on that. So yeah,
I'm gonna look this up later, and I'm gonna make myself like a little GIF board. Maybe I can just stick them up in the little corner of the screen here, like just right around here. Just a little pop them up.
But yeah, the reason I bring it up is because they were definitely still making the sequel. They're still on for all 3 movies. Nothing's going away. They're not cancelling the franchise because of the backlash. They want to carry on with it. So I'm cool with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it in the next movie, because this film does set up something. It is great. It does sort of set the scene for a whole storyline, which is awesome.
That's good though, because it did start. People saying about the legacy characters, but here's the problem: like why people should shut up about that. Because when they announced they were rebooting The Exorcist, the fan base were absolutely livid, and they were like, "No, blah blah blah," and the only reason they went back and redid it as a legacy sequel was because everyone who's moaning now, saying that, "Oh, why did he need to connect to that?" Like, because you moaned that it was going to be a reboot, so it's like it's a no-win scenario. But I think it's better to do it this way because it links it to something. It gives you some establishment, and you have to give less exposition if there's already a film there, because otherwise, if you're doing a trilogy of films like he's doing now, they would have had to spend this film basically doing all the exposition of the original Exorcist, which they don't have to now because enough. You can do just like sort of just a little sprinkling of exposition, about like what happened. I'm glad they're sticking with it, because I was a bit worried they would cancel the trilogy because of the comments.
And as well this week, the final bit of news is that the Agatha Darkhold Diaries, as they're now calling it, has been given its full synopsis for its first episode. So we kind of know where they're going with it. So it states, in the first episode, we see Agatha finally break out of a spell that she's been trapped in. She can't wait to go back to her old murderous ways, only to find that she's powerless. The only way forward is for her to embark on a perilous quest to get her powers back, with the help of an unlikely friend or 2.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they're definitely going down a different route now for Agatha. So we'll see where we end up with that. But this is the first of a bunch of. Sorry, one.
When is it coming out?
You're putting me on the spot. Possibly September 19th, 2024. There's no confirmed date yet. There's only an estimate, or a guesstimate, if you will. Oh, the guys from For the Love of Horror says they're trying to join now, but StreamYard won't let them. Oh no! Oh no, they're here. I think they're here.
Oh,
they're all right.
There you go.
I think they sorted it.
Show. Hello.
Hello, guys. You all right?
Can you hear us? We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Anything.
We can hear you.
Hello.
What's going on?
I'm just joking. Sorry. Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Take your finger.
Let's just whack that up.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us now?
Click on mic. No,
muted us. That's not us.
Click on more.
More. No.
Settings, maybe.
Let's try and do audio. No. Nothing going on. If you stream out before, it's always good. That's crazy.
No.
Let's try on my phone.
Hang on.
This could be a GIF in its own right. I'm just staring at them, going like, "Is it going to work?"
Hello. We'll leave and try and join back. We're going to switch phones.
We'll leave and come back.
For the Love of Horror, coming soon to Manchester.
SuperSorrell.gif is my new favorite thing. Oh my god, it's not. It really shouldn't be. I shouldn't have said it, to be honest, because Andy's going to use that in every chat going now. He's going to send that to me.
Mate, Andy got my film, so the least you can do is suck it up and suffer some gifs. I had a whole movie.
It's because some of them are proper mental. He's sending me them in private chat now.
I just want to see, like, I want to look at. So the problem is, you built up, and because I'm doing this, I can't really Google them. Otherwise, I'll just go down the rabbit hole.
Let me show you my favorite one, because this is the one that genuinely does make me laugh. This one. Who clipped that? It's the little look around. Like, who clipped that? What the hell were I doing?
What I love though, it actually looks like you're asking who clipped that in that video. When you turn around, it's like
just me scratching my head is apparently a GIF.
Maybe
one. And I would like to see the baby. Mate,
I love it.
They're just so weird. Who made these? Who took time out of their day to clip me? That's what I don't get.
I love that. Do you know what? This has almost made me glad that I'm not big enough to have any gifts yet.
That was the best. Oh yeah. All right.
That's kind of like if Elvis was a collector, like, you know. Oh, very much. Oh, what's the one for the money?
Right, we'll try this again. Hi. Nope.
I have worked out I can do this kind of cool thing with the lights, though, which is quite cool.
I like the Boba helmet. Sorry, no, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. There's some that are just like, oh my god, why? Like the one of me doing the dance. There's one of me going like this in like a really weird way, and yeah, someone clipped that perfectly. I got referred to as the English Boogie 2988 the other day. We're gonna try again. Hello.
Hi guys. Can you hear us? Testing.
Yes. Oh, yes. You know what? Eventually we got there. You're all right?
I am here.
Yeah, all good.
Good. Yeah, we wanted to get you guys on tonight to have a chat about For the Love of Horror. Me and Ryan are both very excited about the convention. Obviously, it's going to be massive this year. We've got Kiefer Sutherland this year.
Yeah.
So that was the icing on the cake, that.
Yeah, because I know you've done like the Lost Boys reunion before, but this time you've got Kiefer.
He was there last time, but he was just there for 3 hours on a Sunday morning.
So people need to understand he was on a world tour, and he happened to be in Manchester the day we had that on, just by pure coincidence.
That is absolutely awesome. Dude.
I mean, do you just play the theme song from the film, like, just on repeat for the entire time? Like watching the film?
That's it. That's pretty much it, yeah.
Well, funny enough, I was on holiday last week and I was in Santa Cruz, and I just did have the soundtrack blasting while I was driving around all the horror locations.
And we've got both the musicians. We've got him this year. He's going to play that song.
Yeah, Tim
is part of the furniture now.
Yeah, Tim and G-Tom Mac, they're both going to do it.
Well, this is my first time for the Love of Horror. It's my first time coming down. I'm going to be down on a Saturday. And so what can we expect at the con? What kind of stuff do you guys have that is different to like other cons?
So for me, I feel like For Love of Horror is a festival rather than a convention. Okay. The main stage is in the main hall. We have the panels, the live performances, the music, everything on that stage. While you're going about your business at the convention, it's there in the middle of everything. So if you're in a queue, you're waiting 45 minutes to meet David Arquette or someone, you can still be watching the panels, watching the music. The vibe's different.
It's a festival vibe, and it's just a celebration of horror, really. At the end of the day, conventions are basically the nuts and bolts. So you stand in lines and you meet people.
Yeah. We
try to add, like the boss, Andy Cleek from Monopoly. So it's under Monopoly events for the Love of Horror. He just tries to add as much as he can, with like set bills for everyone to take pictures in and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And obviously with the musical performances and the Q&As are second to none. Really fantastic. It's just adding as much as you can to what a convention is, basically.
Yeah, and it's not just horror that he does that too, is it? It's everything. He really crams a line into every show.
Yeah, I mean, the guest lineup you've got coming this year is absolutely phenomenal. This is probably one. I've been following you for a while, like trying to come down. So they sell out so fast. These events, it's insane.
I know, but I'm not going to be there this year because the Saturday sold out.
Saturday sold out, didn't it?
Yeah. Go on, Swickets. It's a trusted resale site, and you will get a ticket.
Yeah, guaranteed. What's it called, Saturday?
Swickets, it's called. Just messages after the show, and I'll give you the website.
So. But yeah, so
it is a legitimate place. Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Awesome. I think 35 guests we've got this year. We had a cancellation today, Rose McGowan, unfortunately, but it's the biggest we've had.
Oh, sorry.
Out of 35 guests and only one's cancelled though. That's an achievement.
At the minute, see, the problem is you're always gonna life gets in the way sometimes, and it happens sometimes, the law of averages, the more guests you got, the more chance you got of one or two cancellations. Absolutely. But all we can do is announce it when it happens and give people the money back.
Ironically, the one that we had the least cancellations for was the COVID one.
Yes,
which is quite.
And we even had Tim Curry come. But
Tim Curry came over.
Everybody expected him to cancel, but he signed up during COVID, so we knew exactly what was going on.
That's awesome.
It does say your festival, like just when I've been looking at it online, because I have always loved horror, and through me and Ash just talking recently, that's how this whole podcast came about. It's because Ash was going in a more horror direction on his channel. We started talking about Raz, we both love it, and then we started doing this. And so I've started looking more into it, and I've been looking at For the Love of Horror because I met some people randomly in Zakynthos in Greece who told me about the festival.
Wow, gets everywhere.
Yeah, and they're going to be there, which is really lovely. So fingers crossed I get to see them again.
That's cool.
But the crazy thing is, yours looks so interactive. I know this is a weird thing to say, but like you were saying about like a lot of conventions, it's like line standing, or like if you go to a stall, like you have to quickly look at buy your thing and get the hell out of there. Yours looks really sort of community based and interactive.
Yeah, I would agree. With that.
And so how would you say it's evolved from like your very first one to put on to how it is now?
Well, I can go back before there was a For the Love of Horror, because I used to work for the UK Horror Cons, which folded in 2017, 2018. There has always been a UK horror community, but it's always been about this big. So I used to work those shows to the point where you'd see the same faces every time. Like Paddy Considine was one of the punters that we would see every show. That's how we know Paddy.
Yeah.
And then Monopoly came along in 2018 after the company I work for went bust and done a lot of the same type of guests. And then For the Love of Horror 2019, you were brought in, I was brought in, we've done the live show. and that horror community turned up every week online.
Yeah.
For the podcast, which shocked us really, because we'd done the first one on a phone in my living room, and we were like, oh, about 50 people have watched this, and I think 2,500 people watched it, and we went, shit.
Yeah.
We were going to do one, and then we came back the next week, and then we came back the next week, and that's 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago.
Yeah. And the event is still finding new audiences, like yourself, who's never been. You know, and we genuinely do sell out. Like, we don't need to tell porcupines about ticket sales. Like, every year without fail, okay, there's 200 tickets left. You're lying. Event sold out. People lose their mind. It's like, we did warn you. We don't need to lie. You know.
It's a hot ticket. People want to go.
Yeah, we sell about 2,000-3,000 on the first day every year.
I mean, the things I'm looking at doing, like from Chelmsford to Manchester and back in a day, just to go. Like that's I want to go, and I think that's thing. It looks so good. It looks so unique as well, and it looks like it's just people who love horror rather than it just being something that people got nothing better to do they go to. It looks like people who will share the same love of just the craziness of horror.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because a big part of the love of horror, obviously less so for us because we're working. But a lot of people love that community aspect, and they'll meet friends that they only see at our show, at Sheffield, the horror cons anymore.
No, relationships have been formed
as well.
Yeah.
Like, we started a film club during lockdown. So every week on the podcast, we used to do film club where I'd give people homework. I'd be like, right, next week we're watching Dog Soldiers. So I'll go away, watch Dog Soldiers, come back, and next week on the live show we'll talk about it. Well, pandemic kicked in, and I started a film club with Facebook. Me and Neil did this two films a week, Tuesday and Thursday. It was meant to do it 3 months, and it lasted until about 6 months ago.
Wow, that's great.
And like 2 of the group are like engaged now, who met it's wild.
Oh, love that.
It's been amazing, hasn't it?
It's the type of place you go on your own, and you're not on your own for long.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because my wife isn't massively into horror, so I always go to the Sheffield one on my own, and I've met so many people going to the Sheffield one year in year out, and everyone keeps saying to me, "You need to go to Manchester. You need to do the Manchester. You need to do it for the love of horror." So this is the year I've decided to finally pull the trigger and come down. So
did you do Sheffield this year?
Yeah, I was there this year at Chef.
Yeah.
I had a trade table this year.
Busiest one I've seen for them. Made up for them. Yeah. And that sort of proves my point. If the horror community has shown up to everything now, it's like they've seen that there's events there and they're telling other people. Whereas I worked those shows in Birmingham and Liverpool, and there was like, they were quiet, man. And like Sheffield. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's always.
Sorry, I was just saying, I know about the whole horror UK community, because like me and Ryan, we found very quickly we were part of another podcast for a while called the Geek Week in Review, and when our other co-host was away, me and Ryan would just do like a horror takeover show because we're both into horror, and the people just kept turning up for it. And then I turned my channel just to purely horror, because I used to do a lot of Star Wars as well. But when I took my channel in the direction to just do purely horror, because that's my main passion, the viewer numbers and everything, the subscribers went up overnight, like insane. Yeah. It was crazy. And it's madness. It's crazy. There's a proper good like UK horror community here. It's great.
And I think it's people that the people need to see there's other people out there, because I think horror fans feel like they're on their own. I would go and see horror films on my own in the cinema. My wife. Do I go and see Insidious 2? Do I ever? But you're right. What you're saying there. The guy who produces the show with us, Tim, he's like our off-camera producer. He does the graphics and stuff. We did the podcast for years. From like 2015, we did this podcast. We'd interview people. It was cool. Like, we interviewed a lot of good people. Tim went on holiday, and Halloween 2016, me and 2 of the other guys went in my living room and recorded a janky, just terrible quality horror movie review podcast of things that had come out. And we went top 50 on iTunes. That podcast did good numbers. That episode was when we were like, wow, okay, that people are into this. Wild, isn't it? Just me talking about what was the film we reviewed? We reviewed Green Inferno, Southbound, and some terrible. Oh, The Void. Remember The Void?
Yeah.
The voice I've seen out of those three you've just listed, I've never even heard of the other two.
Oh man, Southbound is an anthology film by the guy who did the new Hellraiser and the guys who did the 2 new Scream films, if I remember rightly.
There we go. We just got some homework, Ryan.
I know. You know what the funny thing is, right? Every time we do this show, considering, I mean, most of the time it's just 2 of us, and we occasionally have like people on themselves. My list just grows so much.
Your
we
watch
do this
list.
thing that we can film. We do film tennis at the end of normally of our podcasts, is where we'll pick like an era, like the 90s or something like that, and we'll basically just take it in turns to then just quickly talk about one of the films. Ash hates me because normally I go for deep dives. But the problem is, I didn't realize there's so many sort of like non-deep dives I haven't seen, and the more people I talk to, the more my list is just growing and growing.
It's a whole new world.
It is, because normally I just used to learn by going through HMV and looking through the DVD cases and being like,
there's so much stuff that doesn't get released anymore on physical media. It's crazy. For me, I always get caught out. I'll do like, I'll watch this film and it's been directed by this guy, and I'll go, what else has he done? And I'll watch them. And then, but that one was written by this dude. What else has he done? Oh, well, I'll watch that. Well, that one was directed. I did ADHD just straight across like a.
Well, me and Ryan are proper suckers for like a classic sort of B-list movie or a Z-list movie, if you will. Some proper janky little horror film that someone's filmed in the middle of nowhere in a woods or something. But we've been lucky enough to get people like we had the Werewolf Santa crew on because that film just come out at Fright Fest. So we had those guys on recently. I mean, I can't wait to see that film.
Did you come down? Did you go down to Fright Fest?
No, I didn't get the chance. They invited us to come, but we just couldn't get there. It was like so soon after doing the podcast.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
I've never been. No.
Oh man, you need to go. We went this year and last year. We've been trying to find an excuse to go down for years, and then last year it was like Terrifier 2 world premiere, and we were like, "Oh, we've got to go. We have to go." And then this year we watched Founders Day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because Founders Day. Yeah, I want to see that.
I'm really, really, really good.
Yeah,
really good. It. Just they haven't got a release date, they haven't got a trailer, but I'm telling you, it's
good. Yeah.
I kind of like when you don't know anything about a film and then other people that have seen it tell you about it, because it's always like the old days. You know, when you used to hear rumors of films like around the playground or something. Like
exactly.
I was around Danny's Brothers the other night, right? He had a VHS. It was a bootleg from the boot sale, right? It's leaving out in this country, and you go around there, honestly, for watch it. It's all janky and horrible, but it's like, but I love that kind of thing. But we're going to try and do more of the shows next year because obviously we've only just sort of started doing our thing this year. So next year, we'll hopefully do a bit of this on tour.
Yes,
gotta go for it.
But there's just been the one in York as well, hasn't there? The sort of like film fest, and they had like the Book of Monsters, and I was good. I couldn't get a ticket to that. That sold out so quick.
Yeah,
I'm dying to see the Book of Monsters.
Yeah. Saw her at Fright Fest, but she was busy. Just a little nod as she went past.
Grimfest was on last weekend.
Yeah, we missed Grimfest.
I was away, so I couldn't go.
And there's the Dead of Night in Southport. So there's so much going on. Fright Fest is good because obviously they get the big hitters. Like this year, not so much because of the strike. Last year, we only went for see Terrifier, and then we went for a pint in Soho with Alan from Arrow Video.
Yeah,
and we missed Fall, Barbarian, and something. We missed. Edgar Wright was there. We missed him by about 3 seconds. We missed Edgar Wright because we pissed off to do the Last Night in Soho film locations. What the irony of that?
What are the odds of that situation happening? I kind of love that though, because I mean, the thing is though, that has given you a killer story.
Yeah, it has.
But it has given you a killer story.
I mean, like I think our favorite thing so far, Ryan, has been when we had Craig David Dowsett on, and we just literally geeked out with him for like an hour. And he was such a down-to-earth guy.
Yeah,
it was so fun.
He's a good friend now, Craig. Really nice guy.
We made the mistake of being the first people to interview Craig when he couldn't talk about the film.
No.
So we talked to him for about an hour before the show
about what his favourite pack of crisps was,
and then he told us like all this boss stuff. He's like, yeah, but I can't talk about any of this. And we went live and, hey, Craig, how you doing? He's like, yep, good. Can you tell us anything? Can you tell us any stories about Winnie the Pooh? No, not yet. What are you up to, Craig? What are you having for tea?
Yeah. What's your favourite t-shirt?
He's such a nice guy, though. We're really big fans
Does
of
it
him.
all on discs, all right?
I think I'm going to finally meet him in person on Sunday. I think I'm going to Stoke
You're gonna do
Comic Con because I need Oliver Smith on my Hellraiser poster.
Yes.
So I'm going to go and get Skinless Frank.
I believe he's coming to the For the Love of Horror on the Saturday. I think he's got a ticket, from what I understand.
No, I think he's been announced for a convention now, so he can't go.
No, because when he was on our podcast, he was on about coming down, wasn't he? He was going to take the costume with him and just go for a walk around as Winnie the Pooh and just see if anyone really realizes it's him under the suit. Because I said to him, I said if you do that, please shout me, I'll film it for you, because that will be just amazing.
Well, I'd have easily walked him on stage for that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that would
he
be
wins
awesome.
the cosplay championship.
Yeah, imagine the cosplay competition is won by the actual Winnie the Pooh.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? If he comes on stage and you guys are like, oh yeah, you've got to win it. It's so screen accurate. It takes head off. It's great. That'd be just
It was me all along, Austin.
But yeah, it's funny what you should say about like when you get someone on who can't really talk about stuff, because we're waiting with Jenna Cannell from Terrifier.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we've been sort of back and forth on Messenger with her, and she's like, I want to come on and do the podcast with you, but it'll be better if I do it after this day. And I'm like, why? What's going on? I can't talk about it, but I'll come on after this day. I'm like, okay, Jenna, we'll talk then.
The one.
So, this is the one after the Terrifier has been back in the cinemas, so I'm guessing there's something to do with that and the Terrifier 3.
They're going to show something, aren't they, after the credits?
Oh, yeah.
I interviewed Alec Gillis years ago when he was just he either just finished The Predator or he was just about to do it. And I interviewed him live from his workshop in California, and he texted me. He was like, "Look, I'm running late. Can we do it in an hour?" Yeah, not a problem. And he gets there, and he sits. I was like, "Hey, man, you're okay?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I've just been at a pitch meeting." And I was like, "I assume you can't tell me about it." And I can, just don't want to. Anyway, okay. And that set the tone. Then, if you get a chance to interview him or shoot him an email at Studio ADI, he is one of the best interviews you'll ever do. He is hilarious.
Oh, Chris Majors is
Chris Majors agent now, yeah.
Good, so we could probably get him.
He's very good. He showed me around obviously after we'd finished recording, showed me around the workshop with the camera. So there was like Ryan Reynolds' severed head from X-Men Origins. There was the Queen alien in the background. There was loads of stuff. And he was like going to me, and hang on, I'm going to do this. Just there, it's something I can't tell you about, but it's going to be cool. And you're just like, I think it might have been Pennywise, to be fair, because he did that as well.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of my favorite. Sorry, go on, Ryan.
No, go.
I was to say that one of my favorite like dream things to have a chat with would be to sit down with the guys from Grim Life podcast on YouTube. If you've ever seen those guys,
the good friends, yeah.
Yeah, well, they're going to Aberdeen. I was like, why can't you go to Manchester? Why are you going to Aberdeen for?
We were trying to get them, but it just didn't work out.
No, they'd be over too long. They won't, because they're coming over for that, which is like November, isn't it? Something. No, yours in November. Theirs October. So they seem really cool people. I've been following them since they were like started, more or less.
Very nice people, yeah.
Seem very down to earth that. But I find that about most of like the people you speak to in the horror community, even the actors and the directors, everyone we've spoken to has been so down to earth and just want to have a geek out and talk about horror. They're always fans of horror themselves, which is awesome. And people just want to have a little geek out and a chat, which is awesome. I love that.
Which is funny, isn't it? About the nature of what they do for a living, like what we talk about. Like, considering it's like the most grotesque, the scariest, the horrorest, the weirdest, the grossest things, and yet all the people are just lovely.
Yeah.
David Howard Thornton's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
David Howard Thornton is an absolute sweetheart, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a beautiful soul, but he obviously is, when he's in the character, he's just something else.
CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees, who'll absolutely rip your head off, but it's singing a lullaby as well.
CJ Graham, he can turn the intensity on. Like, there is no, like he's just, the first time I interviewed CJ was 2017 at a con, and it was him and Ari Lehman on the same panel. And I asked Ari a question, and then a CJ a question, and I was going back and forth. And I asked Ari a question, and then followed up on it, and CJ was like, "Why are you asking me?" Obviously joking. Man, I nearly fell off my seat.
Yeah, I wish Ryan was with me this year at Sheffield because I literally spent a good half of the day literally chatting with Mad About Horror. If you know them guys,
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
CM Horror, Pure Horror. I was basically chatting with them, and and then Cadaver Black, and I was basically chatting with them guys for like half of the day. I spent most of the day at the con just chatting to people at the bar.
They're all good people. I was just in Los Angeles with Pure Horror. Funny enough, we've been friends for years. Yeah.
Yeah, Halloween 45. How was it? Was it good?
Oh, brilliant! Incredible. Everything you wanted it to be.
Yeah, I got a press company got in contact with me about going, but they gave me like 4 days notice. I'm like, I can't just drop everything and go to Los Angeles in 4 days.
Yeah,
I was so good to go. I was so good. I wanted to go so bad, but yeah, it looks like it was a lot of fun from what I followed from everybody.
It was perfect, to be honest. Like, I did everything I wanted to do. Met a load of people. Got to meet Dick Warlock finally. Then I managed to do the bus tour, and Dick Warlock come along, and he himself walked us around the hospital filming locations from H2. Cool. You ain't getting any better than that.
That is awesome.
That is really cool.
But just going back to... Sorry. I keep cutting you off, Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. I was just saying, going back to the... If you got a better microphone, maybe we'd hear you. Ooh.
Oh,
so no, you're fine. Going back to the con. How are you doing tickets wise? I know you guys are nearly sold out for Sunday now. Are you? Is that nearly gone?
There's about 100 tickets left. About 100 tickets left for Sunday. Yeah.
I saw you post on Instagram, so I shared it. I saw you post saying there were like not many tickets left now. Like, that's insane.
And there's still like a month to go.
Yeah.
And we haven't overly pushed the ticket sales, to be honest, because we don't need to.
Yeah,
people trust us to deliver. Every year you get the same.
Yeah.
I'll wait to see what guests you get, but then 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people will buy tickets because they have faith that we'll deliver, and we always do.
I think it's proved now, hasn't it? The last few years it's been so strong.
Yes.
I've also just worked out why Ash's burn was so accurate. I've just worked out that my really expensive microphone, which you can probably hear me very clearly on now, was not actually plugged in. It was trying to do the sound through my very far away webcam. That is not. Hence why now I have this very silky smooth voice, perfect for
you see you doing it
late nights.
You're listening to Up With a Partridge. Aha.
Aha. From the house. Lynn, I'm not driving a mini metro.
This is the problem. Anyone who's ever done any podcast or radio, the second you mention Partridge, you just go off.
You can. It's a nightmare, especially at work, because we've been told off several times because someone will bring it up and then we'll just... I mean, I did know a guy who genuinely ruined his relationship by shouting out, "What do you think about the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre during the middle of intimate times?"
I'm not surprised.
It's her own fault for bringing Moose to the bedroom.
Yeah.
You've got it everywhere. On the Valence. I'm sitting too far on the It's a little skirt thing around the bed.
Oh, Partridge, you unite the world. You don't even know it.
He really, really does, doesn't he? He's just the best.
That would be a great one to have, like in a horror convention. Just get Alan Partridge in character. That would be awesome.
He's doing a book tour at the moment in character, in costume, signing as Partridge.
Sorry, I've just got to stand up
the full of a horror.
He's from Manchester. I met him in June. He came to a tiny little theatre by us to do an evening with. He's like a patron of a Shakespeare theatre. So we met Coogan, which was surreal.
Oh, that I am insanely jealous of. I am seeing, speaking of sort of like those kind of horror thing, like links with comedy and horror. You know, you must have seen Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Man, I did it.
You've got a funny story with Garth Marenghi.
I've got a really good story with Garth Marenghi.
I'm seeing him like in a week or two.
So he's doing the book tour at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, I'm seeing it in Manchester.
So I went to the Liverpool one. Me and Tim, co-producer, we bought our tickets day one. Literally sat bang in the middle of the stage, second row. Like, they went on sale at 9 a.m. I'm like, there I am. I'm going to see Marenghi. It's going to be amazing. He comes out and he's like, the only person who's good enough to interview Garth Marenghi is Garth Marenghi, and he's doing it with a tape recorder and himself and running around. And It's incredible. And then he goes, you know what? Actually, I'm going to get someone out of the audience. And Tim nudges me. I shot my hand up and he went, come on. And I did. And I had people messaging me going, did Garth Marenghi pay you to come and do the show? I was like, no, just an absolute brief turn. So yeah, I did a couple of, I did about an hour on stage with him, and it was his show, and I just, yeah.
I'm so jealous.
I know. I couldn't believe it. But it was like,
genius.
It was, someone messaged me, said, oh man, you were so funny tonight. I was like, it was very easy to be funny when the person I'm bouncing off is Garth Marenghi. Like, I haven't got to do a lot of work there. I've just got to react.
And everyone was just sending me pictures going, Ben's managed to get here.
Couldn't believe it.
Just don't use subtext, all right?
I never use subtext ever. Only cowards use subtext.
It's one of the greatest horror shows because you haven't seen it yet, Ash, have you?
I've not watched it. I've not around to watch it.
That's homework I set Ash because that was one of those programs. You know when you come home drunk with a kebab at stupid o'clock in the morning.
That's exactly how I discovered it. Yeah, that's exactly.
Same.
I was in uni.
I was really hammered, and I thought it was a real program to start with because I hadn't really seen much of Richard Ayoade or anyone else, and I got a bit confused. And then
Matt Berry and Ayoade, like that was their first thing they'd done, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Mighty Boosh was the same summer, and I thought, like,
what Richard Ayoade, by the way, is my go-to impression. You know when he does Moss from the IT Crowd?
Yes.
Hi, Jen. I feel trapped like a moth in a bath. Well,
that is
for the love of horror. It's not just for geeks; it's for horror geeks. Yay!
That's incredible.
If you need the advert for it, I'll do it for you. Easily.
Do Winnie the Pooh. Do Winnie the Pooh. Do Winnie the Pooh. Poke. Do Winnie the Pooh. Perform monkey.
Okay. All right.
Welcome for the love of horror. It's going to be a scrum-diddly-umptious day. Dum-dum-dum. Christopher Robin died for love of horror. All for your sins. Right, Piglet?
So, on our podcast, we usually get Ryan to do a weird film quote in Winnie the Pooh's voice, and we've had some amazing ones, like the one from Gladiator is my favorite. But just hear Winnie the Pooh say the most random things is great. Cocaine Bear with Winnie the Pooh.
That's basically how it started, because Cocaine Bear came out. But I do a lot of impressions and voice stuff, so it's what I like doing. And it's just turned into now this insane thing that the people on the internet just give me random stuff to say on this.
I love that though.
Yeah, that's class.
I once did make Tim laugh. I did Ewan McGregor's Train Spotting voice doing Ewan McGregor's Star Wars voice.
Choose light. That's why I keep getting up, because
we're sitting on a tiny beanbag here because we've done.
And I've got the edge of it. I can't even get...
Neil had one cheek on and one cheek off. Yeah, I did. He's gone numb. But yeah, I did Ewan McGregor as Ewan McGregor, but it was Tim nearly crashed. He was laughing so hard. You're the chosen one, Anakin. There's a lot of mileage there. Admittedly, I probably ripped it off from Adam and Joe subconsciously.
Choose the Force.
That's
the other one. Sorry, Andy H in the thing. That's the other one we do is 50 Shades of Bane, which just started of Bane doing that impression. Where it's just like, welcome. It's for the love of horror. It's for redemption and thrills.
Are you looking forward to seeing it for the love of horror?
For the love of horror, for me, Keith Sutherland, The Lost Boys. That's where I grew up. That's my go-to 80s nostalgia hit.
Yeah,
But you've got because it's such a wide variety. You've got Pamela Anderson there. No, Jenna Jameson. Jenna Jameson.
That's how you get punched in the face.
Different blonde.
That's
she'll just punch me one. Yeah, she will as well, Jenna Jameson.
Hey, speaking of Baywatch, I worked with Erika Eleniak. Remember that with you?
Yeah,
we did.
I dropped it off.
Yeah. That was surreal. Oh man, speaking of people you've seen on TV since you were a kid,
naked.
Yeah. There's a really there's a really earnest photograph. It's Sweet Millionaire walking down the corridor talking, and then I was just like, when someone was like, I've seen this picture of you and Erika Eleniak. I was like, man,
yeah.
If you could tell 12-year-old me, you'd be walking around with one of the girls from Baywatch. He'd call you a liar.
Yeah, he would. The person I would probably most want to see, by the way, is Alex Winter. Because
lovely guy.
I think, lovely guy. It seems like from everything I've ever seen, he seems like he's awesome. But also because he did that really unusual film. I think it's Freaked.
Freaked, yeah.
Yeah.
And I almost just want to talk to him about it because like no one really talks about it, and I don't know why it's not as big as it should be. Like I kind of feel like it should be talked about all the time because it's
flopping killed his career, didn't it? That's pretty much what killed his career. He recently screened. Well, he done a last year in Prince Charles in London. They did Alex Winter season, and he screened Lost Boys. Screened Lost Boys, all the Bill and Ted's, Freak. One of his documentaries wasn't a YouTube one. Might have been. Oh, hang on. Our ring lights are up here.
My legs, sorry.
And yeah, he did the Q&As and meet and greets and everything, and he screens everything. He also screened Death Wish 3 because he was in that.
Wow. Was he in Death Wish 3?
Okay, enjoy. Very, very cool guy, Alex. We had him in 2019. His Q&A was just like they give everyone 45 minutes, and then for some reason there was a misprint in this thing, and Alex got an hour, and I took advantage and just grilled him on everything. He, because I said, "Oh, you were in Lost Boys, and Keanu was in Dracula, so who's in the better film?" And he was like, "Well, we are, but." He's like, that Dracula looks amazing. And then he proceeded to tell me he was on set when they made Dracula, but the Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, God. We talked about that one the other week. It's such a good film. It's so iconic with its imagery and everything. It's like we were saying, it's like watching a painting that comes to life a lot of the time.
You know that they shot it in camera with forced perspective special effects like the 1930s.
I know, and I adore that.
Yeah. He said
it's
it was
an art
magic.
form that's been lost.
Yeah. Just CGI every now and it's awful. What was really surreal though was I'd done something on stage and Lost Boys were on next. And as I walked off, Alex was there and I was like, Alex Winter, Bill and Ted 3, bro, when's it coming out? He's like, we've already shot it, dude. And I was like, yes, give my high five. He's just, but I hadn't properly spoken to him at this point. I just thought I'd just take my chance. And then I was chatting away. I was like, do you still speak to Reeves? He had his phone in his hand and he was like, yep. Like, okay, that's cool. He's just texting John Wick while we're talking. That's fine.
But we need to meet more people, Ash.
Yeah, we do. But I'm also looking to meet Quinn Lord as well. Obviously, Sam Trick or Treat.
Yeah, that costume is going to be brilliant.
Yeah, I've got far too much Sam merchandise in this house, so I need to get some of it signed.
Did you see Trick or Treat when it first came out?
Yes. Yeah. I've been a follower of it from the beginning. I've got the original. I've got the comic books and everything. I've been a follower of that since the start. Before it became cool to like it, let's put it that way.
Yeah,
because it had a rerun in the cinema and brought a whole new audience to it.
Mm.
That's what we were talking about. Funny enough, just before you guys came on, we were talking about Trick or Treat because I wasn't into it originally. It was my friend's DVD, like he'd got, but I think it was can't remember. He got it from somewhere like special, but I borrowed it so much that he then basically banned me from borrowing it from him. And then you guys might know this. Was it really limited release on physical media for a while? Because I really struggled to get hold of one for ages. Now you can get it easy, but
it never got a UK Blu-ray release. They shot it in 2006 for a 2007 release with Michael Dougherty worked on the X-Men films, so that's why they've got Rogue from X-Men and Stryker from X-Men 2 in there. It's got an X-Men heavy cast, and then they give it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers went, "It's not coming out. We're going to dump it." So at that time, Warner Brothers were doing home video releases, Warner Home Premiere, they were calling them, and two of those films were Lost Boys sequels. If you ever remember those,
I've got the trilogy.
Yep.
They don't exist.
They don't exist in this dojo. But Trick or Treat sat on the shelf for 2 years and then was dumped on a limited DVD release Halloween 2009.
That's crazy.
Imagine sitting on that film for 2 years. That film sat there for 2 years because Warner Brothers thought it was terrible.
But it's weird because it feels like it's always been there now. It's to say it's not been out that long, really. And
14 years since it came out. It's had a good run, like.
But I mean, it feels like it's been around longer. Much of that, like, I don't know. It feels like it's been there all along, kind of thing. Like Sam just feels like a part of Halloween now. Like can't imagine Halloween without the character now. And
it's a shame that it didn't have the impact immediately.
Yeah,
I agree, and I think also it's like it's interesting that considering it's just one film, I would already say that Sam is an iconic character.
Absolutely. Yeah,
which is quite unusual because normally a lot of icons come from like films they've got like sort of have franchised in some capacity.
And he did. I don't know if you've seen him. He did seasonal horror shorts when Trick or Treat ran on the TV. Like Sam at Easter, Sam at Halloween, Sam at Christmas.
Yeah, that was like the American TV release, wasn't it, or something like the American adverts? Yeah, I saw all that.
BNet, I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh, nice.
That's one of me pickups from America. That little Holly Holbar.
I've had it tattooed on my shin for about 8 years, and nobody ever knew what it was.
Yeah, I love Trick or Treat because you don't see some of the endings coming, which I love. Like my wife watched it. It's like one of them like lesser horror films that she'll sit through. And when she watched it for the first time the other year, she was like, she never saw the bit with the kid with her. I need help with the eyes. She never saw that coming. She thought the dad were going to kill him. She never saw that ending coming. I thought that was great.
Very cool. Do you think they'll ever do the second one?
I'm hoping so.
Well,
did you
actually,
about it?
I don't know if it will be a film, or I actually think it could lend itself to sort of maybe some kind of series.
Yeah, anthology series would be great.
Yeah.
Like creep show type thing, maybe something to do with Shudder, because Shudder seems to be on the rise.
It's Warner Brothers own it though, so it'll never go anywhere.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then milking
now they care.
Now they've got Freddy merchandise. They've got Friday the 13th. Like every horror like Vans, that was all the Warner Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
The Funko calendar was all the Warner Brothers stuff.
Yeah, I could see it. I do still think that maybe it might turn into like a creep show franchise type thing.
Yeah, I'd be happy with a film, and I'd also be equally happy if they never touched it again and left it as it was, because it was, for me, pretty much spot on. Yeah. Do you like Michael Dougherty's other movies? Because I've got a soft spot for Krampus, but that Godzilla film was, for me, the King of the Monsters.
Yeah, I'm a big Godzilla fan. No pun intended.
Yeah,
but yeah.
We've got about 5 minutes left. Sorry, lads.
Some of the Shin ones.
Yeah.
We've got about 5 minutes.
I mean, there's loads of shit ones, but they're all good.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to thank you very much for coming along and having a chat with us. That's very awesome.
Amazing.
It's been fun talking to you. And so people can check out the website. There'll be a link in the description. And there's only, like Attention Geek saying, there's only 1 month to go. Not long now for the Love of Horror. Will be with us very soon. And
love Attention Seeking, by the way. Big fan of Attention Seeking.
Yeah, he's a good friend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love him.
It was Attention Seeking Geek that basically said to reach out to you guys. He's a fan of our podcast as well and asked us to reach out. So that's where my email come from.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming along, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll probably see you at the con.
Yeah, please shout us, grab us.
Come and find us and say hello.
Will do, bud.
Thank you very
much. Take care, boys.
Definitely.
We'll do a proper one. Yeah.
We will. No worries. I'll get it with you again.
Check us some homework.
I will.
See you later, boys.
See you later, lads.
Bye.
Bye. That was cool.
They are like the nicest dudes. That's
we made
what
some
I mean
new
about
friends.
we have, and this is what I love about it. Because we always talk about it, even when we're off camera, like just what a good community it is, and that just goes to show, that's like people that are really making like a home for people like us.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I found about doing the horror podcast that we've been doing is we seem to be finding people all the time that want to come on and chat with us, but there's no egos. There's no like these guys have got their own podcast. They've been going for a long time. They could have easily told us to go in Neddies. We've got like 7 people what they're watching live, and they might get about 100 on the replay. But the fact that they've come along and chat with us for as long as they have, that's just awesome. I really enjoyed that.
They've got really cool stories. And plus, also, I'm kind of glad though. I had so many questions about the things in the background. I just kept looking, like, oh, what is it? That's the Michael Myers mask. And I know that's from Lost Boys, and that's from that. Oh, yeah, absolute gents. But
yeah, Attention Seeking Geek. Attention Seeking Geek. It was your comment the other day on our channel where you mentioned about For the Love of Horror. So I thought I'll reach out to them and see if the guys want to come on, and they did. So that was really awesome. So thanks for the suggestion. Yeah. If anyone else in the chat is a fan of another horror, channel podcast, and you'd like to see us link up with them, let us know either in the comments or message me or Ryan, and we'll try and make it happen. Because it is always fun trying to get other people on, especially other YouTubers and other people that are in the community. It's awesome.
It is, and I think it's just nice that we can all come together to share our love of all things creepy, freaky, and gory.
But them guys go live just like we do every Wednesday, but they go live 9. We sort of go live 8:30ish. So like there is a crossover with us and them. And then there's another channel that I follow. Well, they're a shop really, but they have like an online following, which is Mad About Horror. They've got their own shop and online thing, which I use. But I found through their social media that every Thursday they go live on Instagram. And
I forgot you can go live on Instagram.
Yeah, so like there's a girl called Pure Horror, and the guy that runs it is called CM Horror, and they're always really fun to chat to. I met them at the cons in Sheffield, and I had a really good day with them. And then Cadaverous Black, if you've never seen him, he's so fun. He does like a character. He's like a character actor, and he's like got this whole witch character that he dresses up as, and it is so freaking cool. The costumes are amazing. But yeah, Andy Roberts says Grim Life Collective. Mate, I've messaged Grim Life because they're currently on our time zone. They're here for a few weeks. They're in Aberdeen right now, waiting to do the Aberdeen HorrorCon. So I'm hoping that they'll reply because obviously we're on the same time zones right now. So hopefully, because it'll make it a lot easier to link up with them while they're over
here. Oh, thanks, Andy.
I know, Andy. I love you, Andy. As soon as if I'm talking to him, I'm like, dude, who should I message about? He's like, I'm already on it. He's like the man in the chair.
He really is. Like, he just finds like everything, like all the time. It's actually kind of crazy. He's like our tech guy. You're like the secret host.
We'll see what happens when I turn up on their front lawn. And,
you can be like Sheldon. You can have your very own collection of restraining orders. That'd be nice.
And Andy Roberts is crossing fingers for the the Grim Life Collective. So we'll definitely hook that up for you. But I think that kind of nestles us nicely towards a nice little ending for today.
Yeah, we'll skip the tennis for today because my elbow hurts. So
that's the weirdest thing you've ever said.
Because the tennis elbow, get it?
I know, but it just sounds weird, doesn't it? I'd love to talk about movies, but my wanking arms.
I'm all bones today.
Oh dear. Right, we'll leave that there. But guys, thank you very much for watching. That was fun. If you have missed the podcast, don't worry. I will be putting out the interview on mine and Ryan's channel for you to watch on replay, probably tomorrow or Friday. So guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, I'm your host, SuperSorrell. That's the other host, Ryan Speaks Geek. I can never get that right. And Ryan, anything else to add at the end?
Creep it real.
Bye.
See ya.